Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with another Q&A. For those of you who have not ever seen my first video ever on YouTube, you should go check it out because it is cringe, okay? It is cringe. I'll link it down below, but the very first video that I ever did on YouTube was actually a Q&A. Basically asked you guys on Instagram to ask me some questions, and I went ahead and answered those questions. And I feel like I haven't done one of those in a really long time, so that's what I'm gonna be doing today. So I did the same thing. On my Instagram, I asked you guys to ask me anything you wanted to know about me, anything you want to know about life, or just anything in general. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Make sure and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and let's go ahead and get started with these questions. The first question is, who is your boyfriend? To answer that question, I am married, and my husband, his name is Grayson. Here is a picture of him. He is so cute. We have been married for about 1.5 years now, and yeah. So he's my boyfriend for life. This next question is, when was my first kiss? So my first kiss was actually with my now husband, Grayson. And I actually asked Grayson this not too long ago, but I was asking him like when he thought our first kiss was. And I don't think he even remembers because I don't even really remember. I have to like ask Grayson and like film this and get his reaction and see what he says, because I feel like my first kiss story and his first kiss story are not gonna align at all. I think my first kiss story, okay, let me explain this. So Grayson kissed me, but I didn't kiss him back, okay? The first time I ever kissed him back, I think would probably have to be downstairs in my parents' living room on the couch one night after we had finished having a really serious conversation about like past issues that we had, and we were kind of at the point in our relationship where we knew we were gonna ask for permission to get married, and so we really wanted to like lay out on the table like, hey, this is what I struggled with in the past, and this is what I struggled with. Like, we don't want to enter our marriage with any more secrets. So I don't even know if that's like what he's gonna say, but I feel like for me, the first time I ever kissed him back, I think it was that instance when I finally felt like I had nothing left to hide from him, and we had finally gotten to share everything, and we knew that we were serious about where we were taking things, and we had gotten our parents' blessings and his parents' blessings, so we were both like pretty serious about where this was going. So I think that was my first kiss story with him, at least when I kissed him back. The first time he kissed me, I think it was the 4th of July on like this staircase while we were looking at fireworks. So remember this because I'm going to do another video with Grayson and ask him and see what he says. Next question is, what was the most awkward situation you had in school? I would probably have to say, I don't really recall like high school ever really being super awkward for me, or middle school or anything along those lines. But the most awkward thing that I think probably happened to me was in 2nd grade. So I was wearing a skirt and my undies were under my skirt, obviously. And I, for some reason, don't know why, I thought this would be a good idea, but we were playing in the playground and I was wearing flip-flops, and the floor on our playground was like full of sand, and so I got sand in my shoes, and so I thought to myself it would be okay if I sat on a pole, like a monkey bar type of pole thingy, not that high up though, but anyway, like a pole, so that I could like dust off my feet. And I lost balance and I fell, flipped over, and everyone saw my underwear, including my 2nd grade crush. So I'd probably have to say that's my most awkward situation by far when it comes to school. Next question, what do you do for work? So right now I work as a receptionist for a clinic. I basically check people in and out of their appointments. I verify their insurance, take payments, and then sometimes I go in the back with a doctor to translate because I am one of the very few who speak Spanish in the clinic. So that's basically the gist of my job. I work there Monday through Friday, and then I get weekends off, and I wear scrubs to work. So the next question is, do I have any advice when it comes to not procrastinating on reading the Word? I would probably have to say that what I'm about to say kind of applies to everything in life, but I think it's very important when you want to get devoted into something or kind of develop a habit, you need to be able to kind of look at it in a way that's not a chore or a job, more of like a goal of yours, or something that you aspire or envision for yourself, if that makes sense. I think like I've learned this because So oftentimes back in the day, I would be like, okay, like I need to get into the habit of like going to the gym, or I need to get in the habit of like reading this much of scripture every day. And I made it so much of a chore that I would get it done, but I wouldn't enjoy it. And then that caused me like long term to kind of just fall away from even being determined and doing that kind of stuff. So I'd probably have to say the best advice is obviously to set goals for yourself and set deadlines so that you're actually getting stuff done, but also just give yourself grace and, you know, be firm with yourself, but know that like you want to be able to do these things because you want to do them, not because you have to do them. So I hope that helps. This next question is, how can I be healthy? This one I honestly wouldn't know how to like fully answer, because a lot of the way that I eat and a lot of why I go to the gym has to do with Grayson. And the reason I say this is because like I didn't really know how to like cook anything. I still really don't, but I wasn't like aware of how easy it is to come up with like recipes or food ideas or meals that are actually good for you and that taste good. I learned a lot of that from Grayson, and I would have to say it's honestly not that difficult. So you can easily Google recipes and kind of just find things that you like that are genuinely good for you. The other thing I would say when it comes to the gym, a lot of why I go now is because Grayson took the time to train me and make me feel comfortable with using the equipment and how my body works and what I'm okay with working out and that kind of thing. Now I don't necessarily need Grayson like in order to go to the gym, but it's definitely been great to have someone to like push me towards that. So I would say as far as like being healthy and eating well, I think it's just like a matter of doing research. Like we're not going to know everything, and it's totally okay to like indulge in like, you know, chocolate or chips or, you know, stuff that's not necessarily good for you. It's okay to have that, but it's also really good to be mindful of what you're putting in your body and, you know, to give yourself time to invest in your body, like working out and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't really know if that answers that question. Just be patient with yourself, and it's always good to find people who like, you know, can accompany you in this journey and motivate you to like eat well and work out and that kind of thing. Like it's gonna be a process. I'm still working on being a lot more consistent and finding importance and making time for that. So I think that you're not really gonna get anywhere with that if you don't learn to find value in who you are. I hope that makes sense. So, yay. Okay, good luck. This next question is, what is my favorite animal? My favorite animal has always been a tiger. If I could have a pet tiger like Jasmine from the movie Aladdin, I feel like I would have all life goals complete, because I think it's the cutest thing. I even have a little stuffed animal of a tiger. I'm gonna go bring it. Okay, I brought it. So I have this little pet tiger. My cousin gave me this for my birthday a couple years back because I'm obsessed with tigers. This is probably my favorite animal. An animal that's my favorite that's probably like not in the exotic category would probably have to be a dog. I love dogs. I want to have a pet dog. In regards to one of these questions, yes, Grayson and I are gonna get a pet. When will we get one? We're not quite sure. We're still trying to save up to be able to afford the type of dog that we want. And also, we're also trying to figure out with our apartment what the guidelines are as far as like what dogs they allow. So we'll keep you guys posted though. This next question is, how do you get clear skin? I don't break out, to be honest. I don't think I ever have. Sometimes when I'm like close to my period or on my period, I'll get like a random pimple, but quite honestly, I've never had an issue with breaking out, and I'm really thankful that I haven't. I would say that I do struggle with getting really dry skin and then blackheads, but needless to say, I think a lot of it just has to do with like, you know, sleep well, eat well, drink lots of water, and have some type of skincare routine. So like make sure that you're washing your face and that you're moisturizing your face. All of those things I think really factor into how your face looks. Also like how stressed you are, and also just be mindful of like how you're treating yourself emotionally, because I feel like that really reflects on our face. So I will definitely be posting a video in the next coming weeks of an updated skincare routine, so stay on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, like I said, you can check out the one that I did not too long ago. I'll link that one down below. But on the topic of like skincare, if you guys happen to know any good tricks on like how to get rid of blackheads, I would greatly appreciate that, because right now all I use are like those blackhead strips that like you put them on your nose and then you take them off like 15 minutes later, and they definitely remove blackheads. But the reason I don't don't like those too much is because one, I noticed that it's drying out my nose area too much, and two, I feel like it only works for like a day or two and then my blackheads are back. So if you guys have any home remedies or any tips or tricks to avoid getting blackheads, please, please, please comment down below. I would be so thankful. This next question is, have you and Grayson had any pregnancy scares? So to answer this question, yes and no. Grayson and I both knew that in getting married that this is something that could happen. Obviously, like, we both knew that at some point I might end up pregnant, and like at some point will end up pregnant. We both do want kids, and we're both at the point in life where if it were to happen, we're okay with it. It's not something that we're like actively pursuing, if that makes sense. But I will say that, yes, we have had a few pregnancy scares. I quote it because I don't feel like it's really like all that scary. So to answer this question, yes, throughout our marriage, I have taken a couple pregnancy tests, but to be honest, it's kind of hard for us to ever reach like a pregnancy scare, if that makes sense, because I don't really have like super regular periods. I get them pretty late as it is, and then sometimes even later than usual. So I can't really base the possibility of being pregnant so much on like when I'm gonna get my period and when I'm not, if that makes sense. Anyway, so to answer that question, yes, I've taken a couple pregnancy tests. Yes, we've thought that I was pregnant a couple times, but I'm not at the moment, just so you guys know. And I think it's always important, when you're in a relationship and you're married, I think it's very important to always position your heart in a way where like you need to be ready to have a kid if it ends up happening. I feel like you're never ready to have a kid, but like position your heart in such a way where like you're not gonna be like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever. So that kind of answers that question, and that's my take on that. So yeah. Next question is, do I have any advice for a 13-year-old who is wanting to get a bae? Basically a boyfriend. I feel like if you're 13, you really shouldn't be looking to be in a relationship. My first relationship, again, was with Grayson, and I've explained this in a couple videos, but basically I feel like you should allow yourself the opportunity to really grow as a person and figure yourself out, and where you see yourself going and what you're interested in, and you know what ticks you off and what makes you excited, and so on and so forth. Kind of just really know yourself before you even go about trying to figure someone else out. So it's not to look down on you or think that you're like too young to be in a relationship, but I just feel like at 13 you're learning so much and so much is changing that I feel like if you're trying to do that while being in a relationship, it's going to be a lot more harder than it needs to be. I hope that answers that question. It's going to vary for every person, but that's just my personal experience. This next question is, do I have baby fever? I think I always have baby fever. I love babies. I think babies are the cutest thing. Before I was even married or thought about being in a relationship, I thought about having kids. That sounds so, okay. The point is, I think babies are so cute. I know Grayson can testify to this, but like, whenever we're walking anywhere and I see a baby, or I see like a side of their leg, or I see a video on Instagram, like whatever it is, I literally melt. Like, I love kids. I want to have kids. Grayson and I both want to have kids. We're both okay if it happens sometime soon, or if it doesn't happen, not quite yet. Regardless, I love children, and I feel like I have baby fever, but I think I've gotten to the point where like, I love it so much, but like, I know that everything comes with due time. So like, I have baby fever because I'm obsessed with babies, and I could totally go for having a baby now, but also I'm okay with like waiting and being patient and having everything in due time. So I hope that kind of answers that question, but I love babies. This last and final question is, how do you wake up early? I'm trying to wake up early for school and I'm dying. Okay, so here's my experience with waking up early for school. My dad would come into my room at 6 a.m. and wake me up. I would get up from bed and act like I'm waking up and wait until I hear him go downstairs so I could fall back asleep. I would fall back asleep and get up around 6:40, 6:50, depending on what time we're leaving. I'd get up around that time, throw on some clothes, and then head out the door. I wouldn't have breakfast. I didn't have any type of like self-care routine. I would typically shower the night before, but like I didn't really care like how I looked. I would always just throw my hair up in a bun or in a ponytail. And to be fair, I was doing a medical assisting program while I was in high school, and so I would wear scrubs to school. So at the end of the day, I didn't really need a lot of time to get ready anyway. And I really regret doing that because like now, like I have to get to work at 8. So I have to leave the house around like 7:45 the latest, and I'm at the point where like I get so tired that I'll like wake up at like 7:30 and like wash my face and then put some scrubs on and then head out the door. But the reason I'm not liking that is because then I don't have any time to eat breakfast. So then I get really hungry really fast at work. And then I have to wait until lunchtime and I'm just like starving the entire time and I'm hangry, and it's just not a good feeling. Like if you really think about it, when you're at school or you're at work, you're there for a really long time, like 8 or 9 hours a day. And that's such a long time to not have like prepared yourself to feel presentable, if that makes sense. Regardless of what it is, I feel like it's very important to give ourselves that time before heading off to school or heading off to work so that we can really prepare ourselves. Because if you think about it, like at the end of the day, whether you wake up at like 6 a.m. or 6:30, you're still gonna be so tired and like not wanting to head out the door. So you might as well wake up a little earlier so that you can prepare yourself to at least enjoy your day. My advice on this would probably just have to be like, you know, don't go to bed too late. You could always prepare your lunch or stuff along those lines the night before. Set out your outfit the night before, and I would say don't set a lot of alarms in the morning, like 1 or 2 tops, so that you're not constantly snoozing and then like you're just gonna be even more tired. I would also say maybe if it's easier for you, like put your alarm somewhere where like you're gonna have to get up to turn it off. And I'm honestly still learning how to do this because I love to sleep and I really don't feel like I require a lot of time in the morning in order to get ready to go to work. But I definitely also have seen the difference in how my day goes about and how I feel about my day when I actually took that time in the morning to get other stuff done instead of like constantly rushing. I feel like it helps with anxiety as well. So I'm with you. It's a struggle, but it's still a process. But I think it's kind of one of those things that ties into kind of how I talked about eating healthy. I feel like it's just one of those things where we're gonna have to learn to find value in ourselves and value in the fact that, like, you know, losing a little sleep is okay because it's valuable to be able to make lunch and to get ready and all that good stuff. So I hope that answered that question. But that's basically it for today's video. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. I will probably answer it on Instagram, so you guys can go check my Instagram and watch my stories because I'm going to be answering a couple more on there. But I'll also probably end up doing another Q&A at some point later in life. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did. And let me know down below what other kind of video you'd like to see next because I'd love to read all about your ideas. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. Bye.